Welcome to What's New Lads Weekly Football Fix. Today we're going to be talking about everything football that's happened this week and what's coming up in the next few days. We're going to be talking about stuff like the performance of the week, fantasy football player to have in your team this week, the big games, so Liverpool versus Chelsea and City versus United, the biggest letdown of the week. So we'll be talking about controversial stuff, especially Lee Mason this week. And then we're going to talk about kind of a shock result that could happen in the coming week. All right, I'm joined today with Pat and Josh. So let's start off with, I want to know who you think the performance of the week was.
It's got to be Gareth Bale, doesn't it? He actually has to be. He was something else on the weekend. That's the old Gareth Bale that we remember from Tottenham days.
Yeah.
And when he first started at Madrid, like watching him play, he's unplayable when he's like that. Do you know what I mean? There's no one that can come even close to him. But the thing is, he's inconsistent.
Yeah. That's true.
With every performance. So
it's hard for him.
Really, yeah.
He's had a couple injuries since he's back, though, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I think he's lazy. I think he's lazy, you know. I genuinely think he's lazy. Like, he doesn't put what he can into the team.
No, bro, he cares about golf more, doesn't he? Like that's
literally. Yeah. Literally. He could be the best player in the world if he wanted to be. If he actually put time and dedication into his game. But then we talk about Gareth Bale, but let's not forget about Son, because Son is the glue to that team.
Bro, he was firing. He got 2 assists that day, didn't he?
Yeah, he got 2 assists. That guy is the most likable guy in the Premier League for me.
Yeah. Thing is with Son as well, he can have an average game for 80 minutes.
Yeah.
And then just do 2 runs and get 2 goals or a goal and assist.
Literally.
Like, you can just turn it on.
So I think we can all agree that kind of the Tottenham performance was the performance of the week. Particularly Bale, but obviously Son made up for a lot of that as well. Right, so quickly on from that, I mean, we may as well go from the best performance of the week to the absolute worst. For me, that has got to be the referee in the Brighton.
Lee Mason.
Lee Mason was atrocious. If you haven't seen that video, please do go and watch every error he's ever made in football. I can't believe, bro, he's gone back on his decision, then gone forward, then gone back. Like, I know VAR hasn't helped, but in all honesty, like, that is atrocious. There's actually like things going around that they're saying he needs to retire from refereeing. I mean, he's made a few errors in the past couple of weeks. I don't know if we should go as far as like retiring, but like that is shocking, mate. What do you think if you was a Brighton fan and that was actually against you?
Do you know what? He made terrible decisions in that game, but let's not forget the 2 penalties that Brighton have missed. They could have won that game.
Yeah.
They could have won that game, but it doesn't take away from the fact that that's one of the worst decisions I've ever seen. And you've got VAR as well. You've got referees on the sidelines and you've got referees watching the computers and everything. I can't believe you can still make mistakes like that. I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Going back and watching it again, I mean, the free kick, clearly that was a goal, right? Because he blew the whistle.
I think one of the biggest things as well, I've always thought this is, I don't think there's enough accountability on the referees to get these decisions right. And I think now people are starting to speak about it because it is becoming sort of every week there's another sort of big mistake that they're like, oh, that shouldn't happen. But the referees never held to account for it or anything like that.
Before you can get away with it, Josh, because there was no VAR. Yeah. There was no one telling them that. Now you've got that. There is no excuse at all. You can't be making mistakes like that in the best league in the world.
Yeah, I think there is an issue with like the quality of referees, and again, you know, it's a very difficult job. Like, it's certainly better than I would ever be, but I think some sort of training and things like that is maybe needed, especially with how many rule changes there are in the game recently.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's hard for me because I am about to agree with Brighton's captain. But I think Lewis Dunk was correct in what he was saying after the game. He kind of said the referee won't come out and speak to the media. Like, they're in a bubble, they're protected, which I think he's right by saying they should be where he was at that moment, taking the interview. Why did you make that decision? They never ever like you said, they never get made accountable for their mistakes that they're making.
Yeah, I think communication is just a massive problem with it, because you've even got, I think a couple managers have come out against Kevin Friend.
Yeah.
Basically saying that, like, yeah, he can referee the game and he gets decisions right about the same as other referees, but the players have no idea what's going on. He never tells the players anything, the coaches.
Mhm.
I think there needs
What
to be
happened
that
during
level
the
of
United game?
communication.
What happened during the United game?
So that was, I think it's Hudson Odoi, yeah. So he's basically running, and his hand sort of ends up here, and then the ball hits his hand like as it's about to go to our player.
Right.
Which personally, I think, obviously, even as a United fan, I don't think that should be a penalty in general. But what I do think is how the rules have come into play this year, and how the sort of wording is around it, and how it has been officiated throughout the year. That should have been a penalty, because other ones have been given penalties in the previous weeks.
Yeah.
One of the Brighton ones was very similar.
When there was mistakes from referees themselves, it was kind of understandable because it's human error. But now that you've got so much technology behind it, like, you should not be making errors like that. It just shouldn't happen.
I've got a question for you, Luke, actually. Palace Fulham. Why are Fulham favourites in that game? What is going on? Speak to me.
Bro, it's embarrassing. I can't believe they've come to Selhurst Park and become the favourite when they're 18th. No, they're 18th. They're 18th.
Yeah, they're 18th.
Yeah.
They're barely gonna be fighting for safety majorly, and they've come to us and they're favourites, and then we've made them look like they're fifth. Do you know what I mean? It was insane. We were awful.
That shows Palace though this season. You have performances like Benteke did the other week, where he banged that goal in. What's the goal that was, by the way? You must have been going mental at that time.
Oh, I was going mad.
And you just get performances where you just think, this is championship football.
Yeah.
Without Zaha, you're nothing.
No,
literally, without him.
Bro, I put up a tweet the other week. I said, without Zaha, Palace are a championship team. And I put Van Aanholt's a League Two player. So, I mean, I'm critical of them. But in all honesty, mate, it was on BBC One. So, like, anyone could watch it. And it was embarrassing to be a Palace fan that day.
It actually was.
We'll talk about another couple of letdowns, okay? I think Leicester losing to Arsenal, that was a letdown in my opinion, because although you don't know what you're getting when it comes to Arsenal, because they could be amazing, they could be shit, but I think Leicester should have pushed on, bro. They're third in the table. They could have pushed on and guaranteed
100%
Champions League football if they won that game. I genuinely believe.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, Arsenal's the one team I would never bet on. Ever bet on Arsenal.
Never know.
Because you never know with them. Sometimes they play like they play in Champions League football, and sometimes you look at them like David Luiz was great on the weekend for Arsenal. You know, you never know what you're going to get with those players, and I think I can see what Arteta's trying to do, but he doesn't have the players for it. Arsenal, they're shit. Let's be honest with ourselves. Arsenal are not the same Arsenal. Arsenal fans are living in a bubble that Arsenal is still a massive football club. It's not. No, you don't have a penny. You're not spending any money. You bought Pepe for 72 million. Let's be honest with ourselves.
And they're still paying for him.
You have to know what you're doing with your club.
They're a strange team. I think Willian played his second Ronaldinho performance of the season, which should, keep him in and around the team for the next 5-6 weeks till he has to drop another one. But,
I mean, they're playing very average. I mean, they're so hit and miss. You wouldn't actually want to be a part of that team because you don't know what's gonna turn up around you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. As an Arsenal fan, you'd hope there's sort of method to the madness with Arteta, and you'd hope that this is sort of a rebuilding thing. But I don't know. I can see him being in this position for a couple of years. Yeah,
like how long does can a rebuild last nowadays? Do you know what I mean? That's the question.
Believe me, I know.
Yeah, I know we're running through the questions, but we just wanted to make this kind of podcast, YouTube video kind of quick so everyone can see what's happened in the week, like the important parts. Obviously, I want to talk about the big games coming up. Okay, so we got Liverpool and Chelsea on Wednesday night. I know this comes out on Thursday, but what's your predictions for that? What are you thinking?
Do you know what? First of all, I'd like to give my condolences and thoughts to Alisson's dad and Alisson. Liverpool. I reckon Liverpool will have it. I reckon Liverpool 2-1 against Chelsea. I reckon Bobby needs to turn up. If Bobby links those two players, links Salah and Mane, I reckon they can do some damage.
Yeah.
But is Alisson going to play?
I mean, it'll be tough for him.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hard to tell.
a tough one. I reckon Chelsea are not there yet. They're coming, but they're not there yet. And I don't think they'll compete with Liverpool yet, even though Liverpool have been on a bad run recently.
And JB, what about you?
I'm kind of the opposite, I think. Honestly, I think Chelsea will. I think Chelsea will beat Liverpool. I think Liverpool are in very bad form.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think they've done all right the last couple of games, but before that, they're in bad form, and I think their sort of style of play and some of their players have been found out about a bit this year and sort of easier to deal with.
Yeah.
I think Chelsea, now that Tuchel have come in, obviously they're not winning every game; they're getting a lot of draws. But I think they're a much more organised side.
Definitely.
And I think that he'll be able to sort of find the holes in Liverpool that other people have been able to expose this year. I think he'll be able to sort of expose them and nick the win.
I think it's going to be 0-0, in all honesty. I think it's going to be a boring game. I don't think there'll be much going on. I know that I could be eating my words by the time this comes out on Thursday, but listen, I think it's going to be a 0-0. It's going to be boring. Neither team look like they want to play proper football at the moment, but we'll see. I mean, there's another big game at the weekend, City versus United. So Josh, obviously you're going to say United are going to win.
The Manchester derby.
I think we don't even really need to talk about it. I think City are going to bulldoze through United. I think if United smash Palace this week, I think they might have a chance at the weekend. But if they don't beat Palace like by a considerable 2-3-0 and make it like a solid win, I genuinely
comfortably,
I think they're going to lose 3-4-0 to City, even though City don't have a striker at the moment, really.
I don't think they need to, though. It's weird, though, isn't it? How they play is they don't actually need the number 9.
Yeah,
they just pick 5 and run forward with them.
Yeah, literally.
Pretty much.
Everyone plays so scared.
I'm very nervous for the game, to be honest.
You should be, because they're going to batter you. They are going to run through you like it's nothing.
Yeah.
You don't understand the counter-attacking football. You try to attack them, they'll keep the ball the whole time and just run at you. 5-6 players.
It'll be tough. I think if we do win, I'd love that, and I think that can sort of, maybe make an interesting end to the season, but I think that's unlikely.
Yeah.
And I think if we do lose, then obviously there's a very slim chance already, but I do think if we lose, then no chance we're going to be fighting for the league at the end of the year.
You say that, but West Ham gave City a good game on the weekend.
Yeah, true. West Ham did
you guys are in great form, though.
Yeah, you lot
don't even talk to me about West Ham. Like I'm living the dream this season. I'm actually living the dream this season. Thomas Souček is my guy. He's the best player in the Prem at the moment. I know he's not, but just let me have this.
Right, so
now
2 more things.
Jesse Lingard's help.
I just want to know your opinions on the Bournemouth-Watford fight. I say. It was more like a few overpaid babies like having a little scrap on the pitch. What's your opinions on that? Just quickly so we can go on to the next one.
Just like you said, it's just a load of egos, overpaid egos, just, trying to be the big man in that situation, which it was ridiculous. The guy got sent off already. There was no need to carry on with that. There was no need to do anything else. He got sent off. He accepted it. He went over to the tunnel. And Jack Wilshere, you know what Jack Wilshere's like. He will always try. He's a little bulldog, isn't he?
Small man syndrome.
It's got small man syndrome. That's basically what it is. And it's just stupid, like you said. It's just little overpaid guys just fighting over stupid things.
And then JB, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I think it's a strange one because I watched the game and I think no need for the fighting at the end. But I think again, it comes back to the point on referees, and I think the referee has to manage the game a bit better.
Yeah.
Because you can see throughout the whole game that Jefferson Lerma is doing everything he can to wind up Watford. He had about 3 dives that game. There was one time where he laid on the floor until the referee gave the yellow card. And he's like laying on the floor. Obviously, no one's come over for the medical thing and he's still holding his head. So it's clearly not a head injury.
The game, isn't he?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So last 2 things. Okay. So if you was going to choose a player this week, who are you going to put into your fantasy football team?
I want to put in Jesse Lingard,
Right. Good shout.
I'm half tempted to put Jesse Lingard in. He's, I think, he's played 5 games for you so far, 3 goals and an assist.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's on fire.
Yep. The person I would like to put in is actually the best defender actually for points in the fantasy is Aaron Cresswell.
Right. Okay.
He usually gets a lot of points. Him and Kufau as well. I know it's a very biased West Ham thing, but at the statistic wise, Cresswell has got the most points as a defender this season.
Right. So in my opinion, I'd have to chuck in a Spurs player. I'd put in Son because they've got Fulham midweek and then they've got Palace at the weekend. I mean, he's going to have a tear up this week. He's probably going to be laughing all the way to the weekend. And that's for me. Last question of all, the shock result that you think is going to happen over the week.
I think Brighton could nick it against Leicester.
Okay, yeah. They need that win as well, else they're going to be in trouble down there.
They need the win. They're going to have a bit of anger in their game after this match.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you know what? Brighton play some good football, surprisingly. Brighton play good football.
Yeah,
they play on the foot. I reckon. Do you know what? I reckon Fulham might do one. Over Spurs.
I've literally got that written down. I said Fulham are either going to pick up 3 points against Liverpool or Tottenham. I think there's going to be a massive shock there, because if they get them points, they're genuinely very close to safety. I mean, they're going to be putting everything into that. They put everything in at the weekend against Palace, and they just couldn't score. But I mean, everything else, they're pretty much ready to go. They've got a tough 2 games coming up, but I think they should probably nick a point or 2 somewhere.
Point can make all the difference as well.
Agreed with that.
Yeah, definitely.
Listen, in relegation battle, every point counts. Every single point counts in relegation battle.
As we well know, Pat.
Yeah, I would know.
As we all know.
Apart from that United fan up there.
Sorry, you have like 300 million to spend every transfer window.
Yeah.
We don't have that, mate. We don't have that, my friend.
True.
Right. So I think that's a good one to leave it there. I mean, it was good talking to you a lot about football. I want anyone that watches it to let us know whether they enjoy something like this, to see if they want us to do it again. We can do it weekly. We can do it fortnightly. It's completely up to you. We want to keep it within like 10 to 20 minutes, so it keeps it short and sweet for you lot. But let us know what you think, and like, subscribe, everything like that. You know the drill. Okay, so we'll see you next week. And don't forget to watch our normal podcast on Sunday this week. Cheers.
Comment down below.